Something that sort of just happens when you get older is that you're always in a rush. You're in a rush to get a paper done for class, finish a report for work, get to a date, or finish a game. Getting older is many things, but it's understanding the value of your time above all else. We try to get through things as quickly as possible so we can get to the next thing. We're goal-oriented creatures seeking to make the most of our time. This dichotomy is especially significant with games since they require a ton of time. Money comes and goes while time marches on. Time is the most valuable commodity because we'll never get it back. And we're reminded of this every day through work, society, and just getting older. Placing expectations and goals on ourselves is the easiest way to keep us engaged and the fastest way to burn ourselves out. Although this is productive and arguably, and I quote, a meaningful way of life, everything doesn't need to be solved. Something I've grown exhausted of seeing is people rushing through games. JRPGs and competitive games immediately come to mind here. Whether you're sitting through a long opening or trying to improve your skills, you'll lose a ton of time. And listen, I'm no role model here either. I've rushed through games and binged countless games when I was younger. Whenever I'm hooked on a game or place a video deadline on myself, I try to get through it as fast as I can. The last game that really had its hooks in me was Silent Hill F. I think I had a couple of 6-hour sessions when I was trying to get all the endings, exploring the town, reading notes, and piecing together the story. Games and media like this occasionally come around and remind us why we love gaming. With that said, this isn't healthy and I probably wouldn't have done it if I wasn't an aspiring content creator. Honestly, I spend most of my time looking through past videos for where I can improve, working on outlines, writing, editing, recording, playing games, working on thumbnails, streaming, or looking for a job and improving my professional skills. When you're gainfully employed, you don't have time to just sink 6 hours into a game like this, and when you casually play a game for 6 hours, you probably won't retain much of it unless you're taking notes. Whether you're binging a show, a game, or something else, there's beauty in pacing yourself. I know it's hard to believe this, especially in the streaming era, but we used to get a new episode a week, and when shows chose to release an episode a week, they transform entirely. Everyone's suddenly speculating what's going to happen next. Theories are given a chance to materialize, and suspense and mystery capture everybody's heart. You have something to look forward to every week. You remember more of what you watch, the media has more staying power, and a sense of community is fostered. And this entire dynamic can be applied to games as well. Whenever I go on social media, it feels like there's a race to get through the next big game. There's a rush to finish a game, join the conversation, and the fear of missing out, or FOMO, has people in a chokehold. And I get it. I had the same experience with Kingdom Hearts 3 when it came out. KH3 was kind of unique though because it was the end of the Seeker of Darkness saga, so much was riding on the story, and I've been emotionally invested in the plot since I was a kid. If I remember right, I think I actually called out work sick that day. Listen, I get it and understand the excitement, but I can confidently say that I wish I went about this differently. As you probably guessed, I didn't enjoy the gameplay or story that much. As someone who's played all the Cage games before 3, I thought the story was contrived. Nomura broke his own world rules multiple times, the game felt barren compared to Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, and I thought the gameplay was shallow until the Remind update. Now, this is where things get interesting. Outside of the story, I wasn't aware of how awful other aspects of the game was until revisiting it years later. It took me an additional playthrough with and without the Remind abilities to draw conclusions I should have during my first playthrough. And if you haven't played these games before, Kingdom Hearts isn't one of those series like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta where you learn to appreciate the system the more you play it. If I simply took my time and paced myself appropriately, I probably would have enjoyed the game more and been aware of its shortcomings on my first playthrough. Whenever we binge a game, TV show, or social media, we're pursuing instant gratification. Instant gratification provides a source of dopamine. Our brain loves dopamine, we're conditioned to expect this, and a cycle is created. According to several studies pertaining to the ramifications of binging, psychologists and neuroscience are still debating whether it should be classified as an addiction based on how its absence impacts your life. Relying on instant gratification for dopamine results in lower satisfaction, erodes attention spans, and makes enjoying long-form storytelling more difficult. This is an alarming revelation carrying lasting impacts we should be deeply concerned about. However, I want to focus on how binging lowers our satisfaction and is forcing creatives to change how stories are told. I'm going to paraphrase her words, but Melissa Coase, a neuropsychiatry PhD and author of Binge Watching: How Our TV Habits Shape Our Brains and Mental Health, wrote about how binging and social media are closely tied to each other. Scrolling through Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and TikToks, amongst other short-form media, structures our mind to expect an instant payoff. These payoffs can be jokes, sharing information, memes, and everything in between. Consuming enough of this media may lead to frustrated viewers if the creatives take too long to get to the payoff, thus contributing to our diminishing attention spans. Instead of having a few chapters of a book, a couple episodes of an anime, or slowly planting the seeds for a story, we have a single chapter now, a single episode, or seconds to get people's attention nowadays. This issue is further exacerbated when discussing staying power and the overall satisfaction of media today. We live in a time where social media sells products, informs people, manufactures FOMO, and artificially drives constant engagement. The core of these engagements are products, opinions, news, or general discussion. Humans are social creatures and want to be part of the discussion. In order to be part of these discussions, we might have to watch a movie, play a game, read a book, or something else. We yearn to be part of the community, and there's nothing wrong with that. Where things get dicey are with the sheer volume of stuff released today. As of writing this in 2026, the volume of games we have access to is absurd. The PS5, Xbox Series systems, and Switch 2 are the 9th generation of video game consoles. We have 9 generations of classics to go through in addition to all new games coming out today. If you're going through the classics and or just going through modern releases, you have so many games to play. We're also living through the games as a service Battle Pass era where multiplayer games are designed to be clocked in and clocked out. In our rush to consume as much as we can, when you take a step back, it feels like we've been running a marathon with no finish line. Whenever we finish a game from our backlog, something new and shiny is out that everyone's talking about. Hopping around game to game like this severely hinders each game's potential staying power with you. There are other external factors contributing to this, like work, life, and other responsibilities the average aging gamer inherits, but have you ever struggled to remember a game that you played earlier in the year? Games like Hogwarts Legacy immediately comes to mind here. Personally, I haven't played this game, but I sure as shit remember how excited everyone was for it. And if you ask someone their thoughts on the game in November, there's a good chance they forgot they played it. We've all done this before. Like I said, there are other external factors here, but it demonstrates how easily we forget about things today. I hate to say it, but we get so many games today and they're starting to feel disposable, even though they're arguably the most challenging form of entertainment to make. Whether it's playing the next big AAA game or clocking back into our favorite live service title, social media, video game release schedules, and wanting to be part of the conversation have conditioned us towards being goal and completion oriented rather than enjoying the journey. When you're so focused on reaching a goal, you'll get tunnel vision. Psychologically speaking, the conversation shifts away from I want to play this game to I have to beat this game. And when you reach the latter, I implore you to ask yourself if you're even still enjoying the game. And yes, there's context here, of course, like looter shooters or games that you're replaying. I don't expect anyone to give these games their full undivided attention. However, I strongly believe that many single-player games deserve your undivided attention. It's hard to be fully immersed in the experience when you have music, a YouTube video, a Discord chat, and other things fighting for your attention. All these external stimuli and the checklist nature many approach their backlog with diminishes our overall satisfaction and the potential staying power that these games may have had. Not only does this issue impact how much catharsis we derive from our media, but it's also fundamentally changed how narratives are told. A few months ago, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck appeared on Joe Rogan's podcast. Matt Damon had a segment where he talked about how movies have changed over the years due to movies competing for people's attentions. He shared an anecdote about action movies 30 years ago versus action movies today. He said action movies traditionally followed a 3-structure act, but Netflix wanted to change this. There's nothing wrong with evolving how stories are told, yet Netflix suggested placing an action scene within the first 5 minutes and constantly summarizing the plot throughout the film. The unfortunate impetus behind this was to remind viewers of what they were watching, which is beyond unsettling. I think we can expand this discussion beyond just movies though. Where you can argue this approach for movies is a net negative, it's a bit more nuanced when discussing games. We didn't have quest logs, narrative summaries, or other mechanics that recorded our progress outside of saving 25 or 30 years ago. If you forgot where you were, you'd speak to every NPC that you could possibly find for a hint. Today, we expect this progress to be recorded, documented, and easily accessible. I genuinely believe that modern storytelling elements and mechanics coalesce to create a less immersive and organically told story. One of the many reasons Dark Souls is so fondly remembered is the obtuse nature of its storytelling. NPCs, a cinematic, and item descriptions are how stories are told in these games. FromSoft's storytelling is certainly unique, but have you ever noticed how DS and other older games don't constantly summarize previous plot points? It's funny though, as much as I want to say, let's get back to building the world and plot for a payoff, you unfortunately run the risk of creating a game that's incompatible with modern tastes. Video games, especially compared to movies, are much longer on average, so recapping the plot really isn't the worst thing in the world. Nevertheless, all of this is a byproduct of writers believing they have to fight for our attention. And this belief is justified since so many of us have a hard time focusing on one thing, which brings me to the point of this entire video. The journey is why I've been playing games for almost 30 years now. Whether it's an open world game with a ton of stuff to do, a Souls-like game where I'm forced to learn, a fighting game that will challenge me, or something else entirely, it's important to take a breath and just enjoy yourself. There really isn't a rush to play a single-player game, and when you're in a rush to play one because everyone's talking about it and you want to avoid spoilers, it's like cool to not be on social media. And when you're struck with FOMO or a game comes out and everyone's talking about it, look at your backlog and remember that every AAA game has had its time in the spotlight. Remember that media, content creators like myself, journalists, and publishers create hype to generate revenue. Listen, I know the title looks bad, but I'm not attacking or criticizing the way you choose to play your games or consume your media. It's your free time to do what you want with at the end of the day. I don't know, maybe I'm just tired of going through each game's hype cycle now. Then again, all of this could be a personal problem. I just look around sometimes and feel like we sometimes forget to just, well, enjoy ourselves. I don't know who needs to hear this, but it's okay to take several months to a year to beat a game. When you allow yourself several weeks or a few months to get fully immersed in the world, you may find yourself transported back to your childhood where every nook and cranny felt like an adventure. Story moments may feel more impactful. Areas and settings may feel more memorable, and you'll want to share the magic with your friends or a community online. And honestly, if I wasn't doing YouTube, this is how I would play my games. One foot in front of the other, taking my time, reading everything I can, speaking with everyone, getting swept away by the world, listening to its music, and enjoying my favorite medium to the fullest. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed watching. And before we get to the outro, shout out to all the domain dwellers for supporting my creative endeavors. If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting my efforts by becoming a channel member or subscribing on Twitch, where you'll receive early video access, a special Discord role, access to my scripts, outlines, emotes, and more. Also, feel free to join the Discord where we talk about everything from games to TV to music to anime. It is all there. Okay, so I know this video was a little bit out of left field, but I wanted to do something a little bit different and more experimental this year. One of the things that I want to work on is just kind of talking more about like my thoughts or just sharing my opinions on just a myriad of different topics. And as time has went on and like social media has like risen with gaming, I wanted to kind of tackle just like a shift that I've seen in terms of like, I don't really want to say like appreciating art because that sounds fucking pretentious, but then again, the entire impetus of this video is kind of fucking pretentious. I think it's okay to just kind of like take your time and not feel like you're rushed to go through things, you know? Like there doesn't need to be this invisible hand that's like pushing you forward to finish these games or to go and play all this other stuff. Like if you're having fun and just playing one game, that's perfectly fine. And if you want to go and speedrun through a bunch of games, it's perfectly fine. I guess I just want to make sure that like we remember that like art, whether it's like music, movies, games, books, or anything in between, is something that we just don't see as disposable, right? It's not something that we just take for granted and we just enjoy to its absolute fullest because good or bad, there is a team of people behind stuff, and I just hope that we respect, I don't know, hope that we can give their art enough respect. I don't know, like I'm still figuring out where I am on this video, and hopefully it kind of just being like a rambly mess is symbolic of where I'm at with this, because everything here is like a really nuanced and like a detailed video in and of itself, and this is only like 10 or 15 minutes, so obviously I can't tackle everything that I want to in the time. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll revisit this topic in the future, or these comments are going to be incredibly spicy, or people are just going to see the title, click on it, and be like, what the fuck is he saying? Why is he telling me how to consume media? He's being an asshole. And it's like, yeah, man, that's real as fuck. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks again for watching the video. Again, feel free to join the Discord. Please consider becoming a channel member. Subscribe if you enjoyed a video. I live stream here and on Twitch. I keep all of my streams in the past live streams playlist if you want to catch any of the VODs. And yeah, the Persona 4 video should be coming out next. It's gonna be a big one, so bring your popcorn. Thanks again for watching, and you guys have a wonderful evening, day, morning, night, or whatever in between, wherever you are.